Hello, I am back with another video, and in this video I am going to discuss how to update your resume. So if you have a resume, maybe you've taken some time off from work for a while, or you need to update your resume just based on switching positions, this video is going to be for you. So the first thing to do when you're updating your resume is to simply just look at the resume. Look at the format, check for any grammatical errors, check for any typos. You want to read through your resume thoroughly just to catch those typos and grammatical errors if you have them, and obviously correct them, remove them. If you've used a template, like a job template or a resume template, make sure all of the blanks are filled out. So you don't want to have, where you insert your date, month, year, you don't want to have that blank, because it just looks incomplete, and it doesn't show the time frame you were at the position you're trying to list. So that's the first thing I would always say. Just look at your resume. You can catch a lot of things by simply proofreading your resume. So the second tip will be you want to revise your objection based on the position that you're applying for. So your objection is going to be the blurb underneath your name, underneath your contact information. So it's going to say why you're applying for this position and highlight a brief snapshot of what you can bring to the table. So it's good to customize this depending on the position you're applying for. So if you're applying for a sales position, you want to say top sales performer, ranked number 1 out of 10 sales reps. Or if you're applying for a call center position, you want to speak to whatever position that you're going to be sending your application to. Or if you don't want to customize your resume, you have to make your objective general enough to apply for multiple positions. But if you are going to customize it, make sure you keep that updated based on what you're applying for, so it can make sense for the recruiter, and once they're reading it, it makes sense why they apply. Because if you have an objective, for example, say I am seeking to get into the criminal justice law industry, but you're applying for a sales position, it doesn't align. And you may be wondering, oh, why am I not getting any calls back? Well, at the very top of your resume, it states that your objective is to get into a totally different industry that's unrelated. So just want to make sure you keep that part updated. Okay, so the next tip I will talk about is you want to update your experience. So you want to update your most recent position. So if you're at company Z and your resume says you're at company Y, it doesn't align, because when your interview begins, they're going to talk about your most recent position. And if what is listed isn't the most recent position, it's already off to not the best start that it could have gone off to. So list what you're currently doing. Always make sure you list that, and list what's relevant. So if you've had positions that are totally irrelevant to the position you're applying for, you really don't even have to list it. I mean, you don't want gaps in your employment, but you also don't want to look like you've just been job hopping to all of these irrelevant positions that doesn't pertain to this position that you're actually applying for. So keep that in mind as well. So the next tip is when you do list your positions, you list the company as well, and you list your responsibility. So you want to have action-based results listed underneath your description. So for your description, and what action-based results is what the situation was when you got there, what action you took to change it, and the results that came from your actions. So you have to implement numbers. A lot of recruiters talk about quantifying your resume. This is what quantifying your resume is. You have to list, and for example, I'll say I started in a territory from 0 accounts. I was able to effectively market diligently every day, increasing from 0 to 5 accounts in 5 months, resulting in 100% increase in profits from the previous year. That way, if someone's reading that, it sounds very impressive. You can paint a picture of what you've done in the past. So I can see just from reading that line that, wow, this person gets out there, they really are persistent, and they drive results. So you want all of your bullet points to effectively describe what you were responsible for and how you impacted your company in your last position. Okay, so you also want to highlight your accomplishments. So if you were promoted, so if you started off as a sales associate, then you worked your way up to a team leader, and now you're a manager, you don't want to just list your manager position. You want to list that you started off as an associate and you were able to work your way up. You got promoted. You took on more opportunity. Again, you're painting that picture so the company and the recruiter can see the type of worker you are. So once you get on the phone and once you get in person interviewing, they can say, oh, I see that you worked your way up. Or if you say, oh, I'm looking for a company where I can continue to advance my career. As you see, I enjoy working my way up. I don't like to stay in one position. I don't want to be stagnant. I want more opportunity. Your resume speaks for itself. Everything's aligned. So those are my tips for how to update your resume. They're very, very simple, but it's ways to make your resume stand out. That way you can receive calls and ultimately, interview and land that next job. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and be sure to check out my next video or my last video where I talked about how to phone interview. All right, catch you in the next one.